Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Penelope Hines, and I'm the Executive Director of the Monroeville, Monroe County Chamber of Commerce. As you join this Zoom today, please mute yourself and disable your video. If you have any questions or comments as we go along, please leave them in the chat section. And I'd like to introduce Adrienne Hennis with us today. Adrienne grew up in Robertsdale and now lives in Gulf Shores with her husband. She's newlywed, and she's a graduate of the University of Alabama. Adrienne has 7 years of digital marketing and advertising experience, and she has worked for Advanced Travel and Tourism for 2.5 years. And Adrienne, we just appreciate you joining us so much today, and I'll let you go on from here.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Melvie, and thank you guys for signing up for this and joining us this morning. I'm excited to share some insight and hopefully give you guys some very simple, applicable ways to help your business be more relevant and help your SEO efforts. And hopefully this will give you, an introduction and you'll learn something this morning. So I'll get started. And like Penelope said, if you have questions, by all means, put them in the chat. And we want this to be as beneficial to you as possible. So just a quick note about us. You guys may not be familiar with Advanced Travel and Tourism. We are actually owned by Advanced Local, which is a publishing company. We're one of the top 10 publishers in the whole country. We've got several nationally ranked brands, entertainment news, some that you might be familiar with, or It's a Southern Thing on Facebook. This is Alabama. We also own AL.com. So, locally I know that's a big name in the state. And then we've also got media companies across the country. So we really have a full network of colleagues really helping to make sure that, we're staying abreast on all the, best in class technology and, that we have all the best data options for our partners like Penelope. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of nugget there so you know who you're talking to. Our team exclusively focuses on tourism, which is why we're working with the Chamber. We have a few memberships here. This may not mean anything to any of y'all, but we are heavily involved in the tourism space and love our partners that give us the opportunity to do things like this and reach out to the community as well. So what you're here for, search engine optimization. Quite simply, SEO is the process of improving your site to increase its visibility. People are going to search for it on Google, on Bing, on any of the multitude of other search engines out there, and you want to show up, right? You need people to find your business so they can come be a customer. So SEO can kind of seem scary. It can seem difficult and hard at the beginning. I've got this little graphic here, like jawbreakers, squats, takes a while, sweet payoff, gains. But by the end of today, I really want you to take that hard and shift it into, okay, these are easy. If we're being consistent, being consistent in our updates, if we're being consistent in how you're talking about your business, it can really help simplify this big ominous thing called SEO and really turn it into an easy, applicable way to help improve your marketing efforts in your business. So, just got to note there, it is an ongoing process. This is not something you're going to just, flip a switch and do overnight. Consistency is really going to be key here, but it is easy when you're being consistent. So kind of jumping into the meat of it here, I've got an example of, just a screenshot of a common search engine results page, SERP, if you want to have some little industry jargon there. And most of us are probably familiar with this. At the top, you've got your paid results, which are ads. And then below that, sometimes we call it below the fold, like old newspaper term, you have your organic results. And that's where we're really going to impact with our SEO efforts. I just wanted to put this in here because sometimes it can be confusing when you have these two different results on the same page. I know there's a lot of confusion around, okay, if this is paid and this is organic, where does that line draw? But it is an actual hard line in the sand. Your paid results are you putting money towards those keywords through an ad campaign. And then our organic results are, as the name would, say, what is happening organically, what the search engine is pulling from your website for free. So, as a marketer, you can absolutely impact both. You can have a paid search campaign. You can have a more comprehensive SEO campaign if you're really ready to invest in that. But two very distinct things here. So we'll be looking at the organic results there in the blue box. So jumping into kind of how we look at this, in our company, we really try to break SEO down, make it as simple as possible for us, number one, for our partners. We want to talk about things in a way that makes sense to people. So we like to break it down into ART. So ART is authority, relevancy, trust. When you break it out into this, it makes it, into bite-sized pieces so that you can really start to do little things here and there consistently to make an impact and hopefully help your search results. So kind of diving into these, authority first is just going to be that perceived strength, the influence of the information that you're providing on your website. And then we're going to move into relevancy, which is going to be, is the information you're providing, like what are they searching for? Is that what they need? Are they finding what they need on your website? And then trust is just, the ability to find and trust the information that's being published. Do people really feel like that's a real website? Do they feel like you're the real person behind that business? And all of those things combined really are your SEO ecosystem. So on the next few slides, we'll kind of get into each of those separately, break them down into some simple ways that you can make an impact for your business. And then we'll go into some other real life examples. So the first one here is going to be authority. Really, authority is like, are you being a thought leader in your space? I've got a screenshot here from the Chamber of Commerce. You guys obviously are doing a great job. But is the content on your website, are you garnering that influence? I've got this term here called topical focus. So are the things on your website talking about things that make sense for your business? A note here, authority can't be bought or sold. These are things that you're doing. So even with no budget behind it, you can control the content on your site. And then another really, really important piece here with authority. And in this gray box might be the most important thing from the whole presentation today. So if you get nothing else out of this conversation this morning, I hope you'll remember this. But with SEO, your business NAP, your name, address, phone number are absolutely critical, that they're consistent. So if you're consistent on Google, your Google My Business listing, like that screenshot there, consistent on Facebook, consistent on Yelp, OpenTable, any listing where you're entering information for your website, your company, your business, the consistency there is going to be key. And it's very granular. So if you have, if you're on Main Street, and you're abbreviating street to ST period, it needs to be ST period everywhere. Don't write out street on some and abbreviate on others. So very simple ways there, but just be consistent. Pick away and stick to it. Got some other things listed here, that again, in a comprehensive campaign, you might see people talking about backlinks. That might be a new term for you. Backlinks are really just going to be kind of this ecosystem of getting another website to link back to you. So say you have a boutique and one of your designers writes a blog about how you're featuring, their fall campaign, their fall line in your boutique, and they're referencing you. They need to add a link to your website, and that would be a backlink. Later on, if you decide to also write a blog about them, you would backlink that to them. And it's really just creating this ecosystem so that, the search engines know, that you're real, you're providing relevant citations from credible sites. And the key there, is making sure it's a quality link back, it's from a quality website and relevant content. So consistency, consistency, consistency. You might get tired of me saying that today, but that's the key. As we move into relevancy, this is really, I think, when people fundamentally think about SEO, this is what they're thinking of, adding content, topics, those keywords into your website that are going to be pulled from the search engines. So, with your website, think about things that you can add to it to really help add content to your site, to bolster that, bolster your relevancy, the bottom of it. Gaining relevancy, is really just focusing your content out there for prospective customers. So I always like to think about SEO in terms of, if I'm an actual website user and I'm searching for something, what do I want on that website when I get there? What's going to save me time? What's going to be valuable to me? So if you do that for your business, add a page, I have a screenshot here from the chamber website, add an about your business, talk about your staff, brag about your people. If you have a service, talk about your different services, and, add a page of content about those, so that you really are providing relevant content to users who are visiting your website. Some things here, we could look at, like targeting research for, what people are actually searching for. Again, content creation, optimizing your images. So that's just naming them, for the right thing, making sure you have images on, appropriate pages, really just adding content to your website to help people know what you do. And then the third pillar here is going to be trust. So this is kind of the more technical side of it, in my opinion. This is going to be where you're making sure that your website is working correctly. So do you have broken links going out? Do you have broken links within your website? If you have an About Us page, does it go to the About Us page? Sometimes, you'll do a website update and a page will crash. So just taking care of things like that through maintenance, going back to consistent updates here, that maintenance will really just help, make sure that the search engines, when they're crawling your website, know that you are staying relevant. You have, you've updated recently, and you're a valuable website. These things, kind of pulling out of this little description here, we really want to increase the trustworthiness and give good faith that, when the search engine is sending someone to you, they're going to find what they need. So I've got a whole bunch of very technical things over here on the side. I'll kind of get into that in a minute, but some really simple things you can do. Obviously, if you have a website, having access to your CMS, or having a good partner where you're having that open conversation about website updates, content updates, those things. Adding Google Analytics, that'll give you some good insight to the pages that people are going to. If people are bouncing off a page real fast, there might be something wrong with it. If you're running an ad campaign with someone, you may have a Google Tag Manager account, Google Search Console, Bing, YouTube. Having these things set up just really helps the search engines know that you are who you say you are. And these site analysis and some of these others further down that list are really just kind of what I was saying at the beginning, of making sure you don't have any broken links, and your actual website behind the scenes is working appropriately. Another, this last one here on the list, which is pretty easy to do on most website building programs, is going to be to add that follow share button. So again, from the Monroeville site, I took a screenshot of the top share buttons at the top of the website. So you've got, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and then some contact information there. And then that second screenshot is just going to be, if you have a blog, or you have like a news site, a news section on your website, having that share feature, let people share your content. That really, adds to the trustworthiness, getting your content out there into the world, linking back to your website. So one of the focus areas that I think will be super valuable for this group is just going to be making sure that you guys have claimed your Google My Business, and that you are keeping it updated and utilizing it. It's a great free service for small business owners. It has a lot of support from Google if you need one-on-one support there. This is kind of a quick screenshot of just a generic, I searched for coffee shop near me. So on the left-hand side, you can see the different listings from all the different options. And then when you click into it, this is kind of the bigger view. So if Spill the Beans wanted to, they could add images here. They could add, more of a description. You'll notice that there's even a place for suggest and edit. So as a consumer, I can suggest and edit if I feel like this company has not updated, maybe I went over there and they're not actually open. I could suggest an edit for the hours. I think, for the hours and stuff, especially right now, we've had a lot of flexibility. You guys know that, if you're changing your hours for the summer, you can make those edits there pretty quickly. Holiday closings, anything like that, it really helps to go in and make those updates so that consumers are having the best experience with your brand that they possibly can. It'd be bad for someone to look up Spill the Beans, see that it's open, go there desperately wanting a cup of coffee, and then it's closed. That's not a good experience for that customer. They probably wouldn't go back to your business. It's just a more seamless process if you can do that simple step of just keeping your hours updated, making sure your address is correct, your service options, all those details are correct. And then I'll also point out here, again, taking it back to that first name, address, phone number, note, this address here, you can see they've abbreviated street. If they're doing their SEO consistently, it will be the same way throughout. So they've abbreviated with, ST, no period, and that's how they should continue out. A little bit more on Google My Business. This information really pulls through everywhere. So it's going to show up on your Google Maps, on search, and everywhere else in the Googleverse. It's pretty easy to get access to your business profile. I've got the top screenshot there is how you would claim an unclaimed listing. Just search your business, and if it hasn't been claimed, you'll click that Own My Business, Claim It Now. It's a pretty simple process. They'll send you a postcard. There's a couple other methods, but it's an actual, verification that you are where you say you are, and the phone number is, tied to that business as well. In some cases, maybe you had a past employee claim it and they're no longer with you. No big deal. You can still claim it. You'll have to. It's a little bit different process, but you can absolutely still go in and claim that back. Just a note, this just helps you really manage your business information across Google. We all know Google is, the big player in the game here. So making sure your information is correct and relevant and consistent across their platforms is going to be very important in your SEO efforts. And then I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but just utilizing those Google Small Business Advisors. I know they've put a big focus on trying to help small businesses, particularly through the pandemic. I've got a URL there, so just support.google.com/business. It's kind of a hub, which is the second screenshot at the bottom. You can kind of describe your issue, reach out to other people in that small business community, but it's a really good resource for small business owners to get help from a Google representative. There's tons of how-to pages on things like setting up your Google My Business, claiming it, all of those kind of technical things. Another takeaway that, I feel like everyone in this call can really, go out and do next week is adding blog content to your website. And a lot of websites have a blog section. You may not be utilizing it. This is a really easy way to, really help your relevancy score, which is the R in art. A few notes about blogs is just, keep them organized. You have readers and search engines, skimming them. Make sure that readers and Google and Bing can understand what you're saying. So if you are in a business where you're talking about something highly technical, maybe you bring it down a notch. Make sure that people know what they're reading. The second one is just make it scannable. I'm very guilty of this. I'm sure that most people are. I'm not going to read something top to bottom. I'm going to kind of scan it for the information, I'm interested in or that I need. And most people are like that. So, just think about, again, if you are the consumer, if you are your customer, what are you most likely looking for? So make it scannable. We do that kind of through, subheads and different things in that actual blog template to help kind of navigate it. And then again, consistency. So if you're talking about yourself in one way on your About Us page, make sure that you're kind of using consistent words, terminology in any blog post or other pages. Again, consistency is going to be king here. A few just kind of content ideas that you could do for blogs. The listicle is always popular. So I pulled this screenshot from our website, but 5 travel marketing strategies. I'm sure you've seen a million of these, top 10 ways to take pictures of your dog. There's a million of these listicle ideas out here. They're fun. They're usually easy to write. And it can be applied for pretty much any business. A how-to. These are really great for service businesses, for really, this is another one. It really crosses the spectrum of industries. Pretty simple to write because you are, as a business owner, you already are an expert in your field. So just share some knowledge. What do you get asked about the most? Maybe you can write a blog post on how to do that. You can do comparisons. If you offer 2 different services, maybe you compare the 2, and kind of pro-con each one. You can do an expert roundup. And then one of my favorites is meet the team. We're, as business owners, you've invested in people. So show those people off. Let, your potential customers know why you hired that person, what they bring to the team, and what they could potentially bring to that customer. These are all pretty simple ways that you can, consistently add content to your website to help with your relevancy. And then I've got a couple templates here. SEMrush is a really great resource. I have used that personally, but you can do a free service. You can obviously do a paid membership as well, but they have great resources on, how-to templates, listicle templates. You can also run some of those more technical analysis through SEMrush for your website. I know in the free version you're a little bit limited, but I do recommend if you're interested in kind of taking your SEO to the next level, that's a good place to start. Is just the free version there and check it out and let them run an analysis on your website to see to give you some tips. These templates I thought were a really great visual to kind of show how these things should kind of be formatted to make them scannable, organized, consistent. So you can see in the how-to template, you've got multiple headers. That's going to help people kind of scan down and quickly find what they're looking for. And a big thing on both of these is going to be the conclusion. So after you go through your how-to or your listicle of, top 10, 5 best, pull it all together at the end. You don't have to be a Pulitzer Prize winning writer to do these. Just keep it simple, write what you know, keep it professional, and then pull it all together at the end. Right, I'm right at the end of my time, I think, so I just want to give a couple minutes for any questions. See if looks like there's one. Oh, that was from Penelope.
Just a minute here. Adrienne, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and we just appreciate it so much, and you've given us a lot to think of. And can they contact you if they need more information too via email?
Yes, absolutely. Again, I've just got married, so my email is still my old name, which is actually a little bit shorter. So it's agates@al.com. And yeah, just reach out and I can definitely point you in the right direction. If I can't personally help you, I can send links or whatever, but happy to have a conversation and talk about this further.
And if you need to rewatch any section of this, we'll have this on our YouTube page, and we'll share it on our website and on our Facebook page, and then also on our newsletter. So you'll get a chance to look at it again and review it if you need to. But Adrienne, thank you so much. And everyone, have a great day.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.